Prince Harry says he wants a hug from his brother. But is this really a call for reconciliation, or a deliberate attempt to humiliate the future king? The strange new message, delivered not directly by Harry but through one of his oldest friends, has ignited speculation that Montecito is once again playing games with the House of Windsor. What looked at first like a light-hearted remark has been received inside the palace as a provocation, reopening wounds that were far from healed. The comment came from Alex Rayner, a man who has known Harry since their Eton days, and who once trekked to both poles with him on charity expeditions. Now rebranded as a social media aristocrat, with a following of his own, Rayner declared with confidence that the public will absolutely see, in his words, a wonderful embrace between the two brothers. He even suggested that this long-awaited moment could happen before the end of the year, or soon after. But for those who know Prince William, the prediction seems almost surreal. The brothers have not exchanged a word since the funeral of their grandmother, Queen Elizabeth II, 3 years ago. The relationship remains frozen, if not poisoned, by years of tension, accusations, and betrayals. William is said to be furious not only about Harry's memoir Spare, but also about the constant Montecito narrative that paints him as cold, violent, and distant from his younger brother. To suggest a hug in this context feels less like reconciliation and more like mockery. Insiders say the timing could not be worse. Just last week Harry had tea with King Charles at Clarence House, their first private meeting in 19 months. For William, who has carried the heavy burden of royal duty without his brother at his side, the sudden reconciliation between father and son felt suspicious. Was this a genuine olive branch, or another carefully staged move to rebuild Harry's profile in Britain? William reportedly viewed the optics with frustration, worried that it made him appear obstructive, while Harry played the role of prodigal son. Against this backdrop, the hug talk looks like another strategic jab. The word itself is loaded. Harry has made a career out of accusing his family of emotional coldness. In his memoir, he described a childhood devoid of embraces, a father who failed to comfort him after Diana's death, and a grandmother who never hugged him. He accused William of physical violence, claiming his brother shoved him to the ground in a rage. He mocked Catherine as stiff, alleging that she recoiled when Meghan offered a hug. Again and again, Harry weaponized the language of affection, contrasting his tactile American life with Meghan, where hugs and kisses are displayed at every gala, with the supposed frost of the Windsors. Now his friend suddenly predicts that William will hug him. To William, palace sources insist, this feels like entrapment. If he refuses, he confirms Harry's caricature of him as uptight and unfeeling. If he agrees, he becomes a prop in Harry's redemption story. Either way, William loses. The so-called hug trap leaves the future king with no dignified escape. And William's fury is not only about words. Those close to him say he has never forgiven Harry for the chapters in Spare that targeted Catherine. The Princess of Wales was dragged into Harry's grievances, portrayed as cold and complicit in clashes with Meghan. For William, protecting his wife is non-negotiable. Palace insiders confirm that he told friends the book felt like a betrayal too far, a public attack on the woman who has stood at his side for decades. Until Harry apologizes, William has no intention of moving forward. Yet Harry has been clear, he feels no regret. In interviews, he has repeated, "My conscience is clear." That insistence only deepens the gulf. William believes Harry has not just tarnished the monarchy, he has profited from it. The Netflix deals, the memoir, the public confessions have all been framed as corrections to the record, but for William they were commercialized betrayals. To then float the idea of a family hug, after years of financial gain from family conflict, feels insulting. Observers note that this is not the first time Harry's camp has used affection as a weapon. During interviews in America, Meghan lamented that British Reserve made hugs uncomfortable. The couple's constant public displays of affection, hands intertwined on red carpets, kisses during speeches, warm embraces at charity events, are as much branding as genuine intimacy. Supporters see love, critics see contrast. Every hug is another reminder of what they claim the Windsors lack. And now, by dangling the possibility of a brotherly embrace, Harry's friend ensures the conversation continues. Inside Kensington Palace, the mood is said to be grim. Courtiers fear that once again the Sussexes have framed the narrative to their advantage. Harry is cast as open-hearted, yearning for reconciliation. William is cast as rigid, refusing to soften. Yet the truth, insiders say, is more complicated. William is carrying the monarchy on his shoulders while dealing with Catherine's health challenges, his father's illness, and the daily pressure of preparing to be king. For him, Harry's hug diplomacy is not reconciliation. It is a sideshow that distracts from real duty. The British press has already seized on the absurdity. Headlines mocked the idea of an embrace, pointing out that William remains spitting mad over Spare. Commentators noted the cruel irony of Harry demanding physical closeness after publicly humiliating his brother. Even sympathetic observers admitted the timing felt like provocation. "This is not how reconciliation works," one royal biographer remarked. "You cannot humiliate your brother in print and then expect him to hug you for the cameras." And yet, the public fascination is undeniable. Images of the brothers hugging would dominate front pages worldwide. For Harry, that is the point. For William, it is the nightmare. A hug would erase years of careful boundaries and lend credibility to Harry's narrative of victimhood and healing. Refusing would confirm the stereotype of Windsor coldness. The trap is perfect, and William knows it. Behind closed doors, William's anger is reportedly volcanic. Friends say he feels cornered, his brother exploiting sentimentality while ignoring accountability. "It is manipulation, pure and simple," one confidant said. William will not be played like that. Not after everything. His fury is heightened by the fact that Harry has shown no sign of reaching out privately. Instead, messages are filtered through friends and the media, forcing William to react in public while looking like the obstructionist. Meanwhile, King Charles continues to hope for reconciliation. His tea with Harry was interpreted by many as an attempt to reset the relationship, to prove that a father's love is unbreakable. But even Charles has limits. Those close to the king note that he was deeply unsettled by Harry's refusal to retract his accusations of racism and his refusal to apologize for Spare. Charles may wish for harmony, but William represents the future. And William's view is clear: until there is accountability, there will be no embrace. So where does this leave the monarchy? Trapped between appearances and reality. Harry is staging a narrative of hugs and healing. William is locked in rage and resistance. Charles is caught in the middle, torn between his duty to the institution and his love for both sons. The world watches, hungry for the image of reconciliation, but blind to the scars that make it impossible. And so we ask again, is Harry truly reaching out? Or is he deliberately winding up his brother? Is the promise of a hug an olive branch? Or a dagger wrapped in sentimentality? One thing is certain: the hug, once a symbol of love, has now become a weapon in the most bitter royal feud of our time.